Welcome to Cape Media News, and this is Candid Candidates. I'm sitting down with Jerry O'Connell, Republican nominee for the 1st Barnstable District. Jerry, thank you for being here today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
So we're sitting down, we're talking with all the candidates in our area, and we want to know a little bit about you, where you're from, how you got to where you are today, and what led you into the world of politics.
Well, I was born in Hyannis, raised in Yarmouth, me and my 4 brothers. We all attended Yarmouth schools. I graduated from Cape Cod Tech. And most people know this story because I say it all the time. When I graduated high school, I enlisted in the Marine Corps. Traveled around, did a lot of different things, different tours, different countries, a few combat tours here and there. After my time in the Marine Corps, I served for 23 years. I retired. I came home. And I noticed that the Cape had changed. It's really not the same place that I grew up in. And, of course, things change through time. But there were a lot of different things. And I think one of the things that I noticed is it's very populated. But we can get into that later, I guess. So now I have my wife. I have 2 young boys. I have my older son, too, from a previous marriage, who also lives here in the Cape. And what got me into politics was the fact that nobody stepped up to run against the current state rep, especially in the state that he's in. He was caught cheating in the 2022 election, and I couldn't believe that nobody was going to run against him. So I said, okay, well, somebody's got to do this. I talked to my wife, some friends, and we said, okay, let's do it. And in June, we filed our paperwork, and we announced our candidacy. And we've been moving forward ever since. Just focusing on that a little bit, you're kind of different than some other candidates here that, like, you haven't been on the ballot the whole way through. Like, you had a pretty aggressive write-in campaign and was successful. What was it like running a write-in campaign? It wasn't. It was fun, actually, because you're out there meeting people, you're out there talking to people. You have to engage, the voter. And you have to tell them, hey, you have to introduce yourself to them, to every person. And it was fun. It's cool to meet people. It's cool to swap ideas, share stories. Most people are very like-minded. One of the things that we did not do is we didn't run a sticker campaign. And everybody was telling us, you got to just do stickers. And I spoke to each one of the town clerks, and they advised against that. So we said, we're going to be old school. We're going to have people go there. If you can make your way to the polls, then you can surely write in my name and address. And people did that. We were required to get 150 write-in votes. We got over 500. I actually got 30 write-ins for Congress. I'm sure I got a few others for different positions, but it was pretty good, and it was fun along the way. We had a really good team, and I have to thank my team because the guys that are working with me, they're volunteering their time, and so the success is pretty much lies on the team. And it was a fun process, and it was cool to sit back on Tuesday night, the 3rd of September, and just kind of watch the numbers come in. It was a fun process, and I enjoyed every bit of it.
Something we've been talking with all the candidates is that Cape Cod in general is kind of what I kind of call like a unicorn in the state politics world of the delegation from Cape Cod being from both sides of the aisle, but they're also a very tight-knit group. If elected, like, how do you see yourself working with Democrats on the other side of the aisle, but from Cape Cod and working together to get things done?
I think there's really only one Democrat on the other side of the aisle that's a Cape Codder. I think the others are what we call Washer Shores, right? I think to an extent I could do that. But also, I have my own beliefs, and I am not a person to really change my beliefs. And there are groups within the Democrat Party, the Republican Party. There are groups in every party that want you to bend. They want you to be a certain way. I can understand that in order to be successful that I have to bend a little bit. But there's some things I probably won't bend on. I really won't get into that. But, I am my own man. I am not a politician. So going into this, I'm just going to stick firm to who I am. But if need be, in order to accomplish what I want to get done for my voters,
I will probably have to bend a little bit, and I acknowledge that.
All right. And so you mentioned you retired from the Marine Corps. What have you been doing since the Marine Corps?
I punched out in '05. I began laying brick. I worked as a mason around town, worked for a few good guys. I had a lot of fun doing that. I love that trade. Masonry is awesome. It's fun. Hard work. And at a certain point, I said, okay, I got to try something different. So I went to tractor-trailer driving school down in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and I became an over-the-road truck driver for a few years. Another job I really loved. I loved driving a truck. I loved the challenge of it. It was fun. But my wife wanted to have kids, which kind of hurt. She had a change of heart. I said, all right, that's okay. So we can do that. And so I had to stay home a little bit. And that life just wasn't working as a guy driving on the road. So I kind of said, okay, I'm just going to stay home and help with the kids. Or it was our one son. And our second son was born in March 30th. And so I kind of been staying home, helping with that. And my wife has been home, too, since she had a baby. She's been on maternity leave, which is great. But that's about it.
Awesome. And what did you do? What was your MOS in the...
In the Marine Corps, I was my first MOS was 3521, which is just a basic mechanic. And I had the uncanny ability to be able to fix anything, anywhere, anytime, any place. So
it's a good quality in a politician.
It probably is. But I was the guy that whenever somebody deployed, they said, take that guy. And through the years, I acquired different MOSs and different skills. And I kind of left that job and got more into logistics. And I became one of the guys who was one of the first to deploy to certain areas to do logistical things. Okay. So it was fun. It was a challenge also.
Let's talk about like you said, you were a mason and a truck driver. What kind of skills do you think that you learned in those jobs that will benefit you in the State House?
That's a pretty good question. Because when I go to the State House, my first thing is I look at the awesome masonry. I look at the stonework. I look at the brickwork. But also what it is, I think from those skills, I think what I've learned is about the people. The men and women that work in those trades, I mean, these guys, in any trade, they're hardworking people. I mean, these guys get up early in the morning, they go to work, and they bust their hump, and they earn, some of them earn good wages, some of them don't, but they work hard. So I think the takeaway from my time in the trades, and I met guys on job sites in all the trades, and I always liked it, because we're always joking around. You're always, joking with people or playing a prank on somebody. But it's all fun. But what I learned was that there's a huge number of men and women in the trades on the Cape, and a lot of these guys, they just work. They keep their heads down, get up in the morning, go to work. They come home, they spend a little time with their kids, they eat dinner, and they go to bed. They get up and do it all over again. And a lot of them, they're removed from the political scene, and for the most part, they don't have time. And if they did have time, a lot of them would say, well, my vote doesn't count anyways, especially here in Massachusetts. And they would say that, my voice isn't heard. But with me, your voice would be heard because I come from you guys. I'm one of you. I was that guy on a job site. I was that guy at the truck stop, and I am one of you. Your voice is my voice. So my message to that segment of our population is that if you feel your voice isn't heard, vote for me, and your voice will be heard. Your vote will count. But if you don't vote, there's nothing I can do. So, but that's probably the takeaway from my time in the trades. It was fun.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Jerry, thank you so much for sitting down with us today, and we look forward to having you back in the studio in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.